All right, let's go and get started. Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sharkinbear, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be checking out Beyond Sunset. This game officially came out on the 12th of September, and it was originally released back in November of 2023. Now that it's in its 1.0 status, we're going to go ahead and check it out. I want to say, go ahead and thank the developers at Metacore for giving me access to the game back when it officially launched. I had almost been certain that I had already made a video on this one, but I do believe that was around the time at COVID, and I'm thinking maybe I finally hallucinated that, but I just got an email that said, hey, how come you haven't made content? So here we are, because I feel really bad. I had let this skate over my mind, and I want to apologize greatly for that. It was never my intent to kind of skip out making content for what I feel to be a pretty awesome game. So if you're not familiar with what Beyond Sunset is, according to the Steam description, this is a cyberpunk first-person shooter with a rich story and RPG elements. You are Lucy, an enhanced street samurai searching for lost memories, fighting a large open interactive level overtaken by yakuza, zombies, robots, and bosses. Yeah, this game is more stage-based than I thought it was. I do know that the game was originally released in kind of like an episodic content, and as the 1.0, there are a total of 5 different chapters. The cool thing is you can actually tackle these in any order you want. Well, not any order you want. You can tackle them at any point in time. You don't have to play the game seamlessly from stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The game pretty much lets you pick up and play where you want to, although I would heavily suggest playing it in the order it's meant to, or else you're going to be obviously very confused. You're going to be seeing some gameplay in the background of me playing through the first stage of the game, and as we're going to see the gameplay going on, I'm going to talk about my pros and cons for my experience with the game, things I like, things I don't like. So if you like the sort of content you want to see more videos like this here, make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, and let me know what you think of the game. It's also noting that this game, according to the Steam page, also says this game is highly moddable. I'm not big on mods, so this is probably not something that's going to, be interesting to me, but for those of you who are really interested into the mod scene, this uses the GZ Doom tools, which I believe is what the original game used, Doom, back in the day, to actually make different mods and whatnot. And you can actually design your own weapon stages, scenarios, all that sort of jazz. You can even post this to the Doom modding community and let them have at it. Now, as you can see also from the gameplay, this is definitely more of a boomer shooter thing, but it has a lot of RPG elements in it, and I am going to go ahead and say, maybe just because I don't play a lot of boomer shooters, but I have been playing a lot of them lately. But this game is incredibly tough, even on the average difficulty. I found myself struggling with this quite a bit. And that is not to say that it isn't fun. I actually really like the challenge. I feel like the difficulty of some of the things spiked here in this game, and that was a really fun challenge, but some of these were just so beyond above and board. I feel like maybe there's a couple of places where some stuff is overtuned, but otherwise it was generally a pretty good experience across the 5 chapters. It took me roughly around, I would say, 7 to 9 hours, somewhere in that neighborhood, to complete my first playthrough, and there's definitely a reason to go back and do it. Just like the boomer shooters of old, there are secrets tucked away in every single nook and cranny of this game. They are everywhere. Like the first level, I thought that the game was pretty good. They have a little wireframe mini-map that you can pull up if you need to look at an overlay or whatever, and you can actually move while that map is up. And here I thought that a lot of these secrets and stuff would have question marks on them and stuff, just because my map was showing question marks. Lo and behold, after I completed my first playthrough of the first level, the one you're seeing currently right now behind me, or, on the screen, I had only found 2, I believe, of 42 different secrets, or maybe 24. I could be dyslexic about that number, but either way, I had found a very small, a very small amount of those secrets. So there's definitely a reason for me to want to go back and try to find all those collectibles and whatnot. There are even quests throughout that you can complete, such as in this instance, you'll actually see me find a teddy bear sitting on the outside of a window, outside of a massive building, just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. And if you happen to find the robot that's looking for that friend, he'll even give you access to a secret weapon in the game that you get to use a couple of times. It's pretty awesome. As far as combat goes, I really genuinely like combat. There aren't a lot of weapons in this game. You are a street samurai in this game named Lucy. She wakes up with amnesia, not exactly sure where she's at and why she's there. But after she leaves her confines, she escapes. She eventually makes contact with a dude named Raven, who basically helps set her free and lets her know there's basically a machine apocalypse that's happening, but there's another lady out there who's also linked up with machines who can basically save humanity with Lucy's help. She just needs her to go out and basically do some jobs for her. Along the way, you'll find that Lucy has some great street skills in the form of using her katana to slash through enemies, and it's very fun to do so. It's very visceral. You can cut down slews of foes. As you cut down enemies, you'll basically be generating this energy that you can then use to basically make a one-hit KO on several enemies, and that one-hit KO is very important, or that ability is very important, because that allows you to basically regen your health. It's one of the few ways you can regenerate your health other than like killing, swarms of enemies and picking up health pickups from them, which eventually do become plentiful, but at the beginning of the game, it is a very tough affair. It's also easy to say that if you aren't watching where you're going, if you just like walk into a couple of enemies, even the most basic enemies will absolutely dominate you. They do a crap ton of damage on the adventure difficulty, or like the normal difficulty. So if you just want to take this easy, I would definitely suggest that you maybe tone it down a notch to like the easy play mode if you want to just not have to stress out about it, because there is a couple of rooms in here that are very gauntlet heavy where you have to defeat waves and waves of enemies, and that can get kind of exhausting, dying, repeating, and well, not dying, but like fighting, dying, and then repeating that over and over again until you get it right. But then again, like I said, it is very fun. The other weapons you have at your disposal are a pistol, a shotgun, and an assault rifle. And all three of those weapons are pretty awesome. And I will say the fact that even though there aren't very many weapons in this game, they all have fantastic utility. Even though you get a shotgun and a assault rifle in this game, it does not make the pistol any less impactful. The pistol is the only weapon in the game, a ranged weapon, mind you, that has infinite ammo. And on top of having infinite ammo, it is also probably the best weapon at destroying enemy shields. Occasionally you'll find enemies who have like front-facing shields, and they cannot be taken down unless you pump a whole bunch of ammo into them, or you use the secondary fire on the pistol, which shoots a charge shot and basically knocks out shields outright, which is a very useful tool to have. As far as the assault rifle and the shotgun, they are both very good at clearing rooms, the assault rifle being very, very accurate, even from long range, so you can definitely snipe foes from a distance. As far as the shotgun goes, absolutely wonderful at AoE close quarters clearing. They also have secondary fires that you'll eventually unlock along the way. For the assault rifle, it gets a missile launcher, and for the shotgun, it gets a grenade launcher attachment to it. I will say, I'm not going to be completely honest on that one, I don't really particularly care for the secondary fires on those weapons. I'm not saying they aren't strong, I just found myself just mostly having enough ammo to always take stuff down pretty fast with just the basic fire, or the basic damage from the shotgun and the assault rifle. As far as the fifth weapon was something I only ever encountered twice in my playthrough, and it's pretty interesting. So I'm just telling you about whenever you kill enemies, they basically drop these purple orbs that basically give you energy, and as soon as you collect enough energy, you can then use that to basically one-hit KO enemies and basically regenerate a whole bunch of health. Well, this other gun will basically absorb that whole bar and make it basically, the BFG from Doom. It'll do a giant shot and clear the entire enemy screen. So it's very powerful, but it's not something I encountered a lot of. Other than that, I feel like the weapon-wise, everything else is good. Never really had any problems with the weapons. As you go, you'll collect currency in the form of money, and they can use that to upgrade things such as the amount of capacity you have for ammo on each of those guns, as well as increasing your maximum health, which is very important. Along the ways, you'll also get a couple of other special abilities, but they're not very useful. I mean, they are, but like I didn't find myself using them as much as I probably should have. The first one is the poison ability, and the other one is the ice ability. The ice skill basically allows you to freeze enemies near you, giving you a momentary reprieve from taking damage, or just giving you the chance to get some distance between you and the enemy. The other one is the poison ability, which I am a big fan of poison abilities in games, and basically that allows you to poison an enemy, deal damage to them, and if you kill them fast enough, you can actually have that poison spread to nearby enemies. Very fun to do, but I never really noticed it doing a whole bunch of damage outright. But that being said, I feel like the combat was very competent, and a matter of fact, probably one of my favorite parts about combat in this game was the fact that you are so highly agile in this game. Your maneuverability is next to none in this game. You actually feel like you're just skating across the world because you can dash, but you can also slide, and that slide allows you to basically perform giant distance. You can basically cross a huge amount of distance in a very short amount of time, slashing with your katana and or repositioning with your weapons. Most of the time, you can even outrun gunfire, or even find yourself ducking below the gunfire as you're blasting into a herd of enemies. So we'll see, overall, just combat was absolutely a real shining star for the game. As far as the levels go, again, like there's 5 levels. I don't want to spoil the last level particularly. I want everybody to kind of experience the last episode if you get a chance to play in the game. It is pretty awesome. But the first level is you just basically finding yourself in a hospital and or like a research facility, and you'll find yourself basically finding your way to get out, just trying to figure out answers. From there, you'll also explore a cityscape, city streets, fighting and hunting for yakuza arms, and basically finding yourself fighting atop rooftops, as well as like fighting in bars and whatnot. Overall, you'll find that the city level was actually pretty good, but probably one of the worst design levels in a very long time I've seen. Now, that's not to say that it wasn't fun. My problem with this is that the game doesn't really have any sort of journal to speak of. If you ever get lost about what you are doing, you can sometimes find a payphone in which you can call one of your friends, the guy who actually released you in the beginning of the game, and he'll kind of give you more or less a kind of a nod as to which direction you should be going in. But there are no objective quest markers to speak of. There are an occasional couple of markers that will indicate certain things, such as maybe where a key code goes or a handprint goes or stuff like that, which is pretty fun. But overall, some of these levels are so sprawling, and the fact that there's a map, but whenever you basically go to another zone, you can find yourself loading into a different area. Therefore, the maps don't really connect, and you might be missing information you otherwise would have if it was just one large map. I know that sounds kind of weird, and I know this kind of goes back to the fact that this is kind of an old school game, and it kind of gets its, it pulls all its inspirations from that. It isn't by any means like a deal breaker or anything like that, but just that cityscape level is so large, it's easy to get lost in a city street. So for those of you who have a really short-term memory like myself, who have like the goldfish memory, the cityscape area could be kind of difficult to get through, but honestly, it's still really fun once you figure it out. After that, you'll also find yourself tackling another place. It's kind of like a temple archive. It's probably one of the coolest areas in the entire game. I really enjoyed it. This was the episode 3, I believe. The only issue that I had any particular part is started to really arise whenever we got to the temple, because this game does some weird things with lighting, and I don't know if it's because of the engine or basically a design choice on it, but there's certain places where the lighting in the game happened to be so dark it was impossible to even see enemies who were like 2 feet in front of me. The only chance that I could notice that they were actually in front of me is when I started seeing damage markers hitting me, or if I just saw like the glint of their eyes. So, some lighting in some places was kind of abysmal. I did notice that occasionally it would go away, like the darkness, and I would actually get some light, but that would be after I hit a button or something. So I wonder, I'm pretty sure it would have to have been like a design choice for that. It didn't happen a lot in the third stage, but it was something to keep note for there. And as far as I can tell, I don't think there are any gamma settings to make areas like that brighter. After that, we talk about episode 4, and I will say, by and far, this was probably my favorite part of the game. And it's going to be very weird to talk about this one without giving too much away. The game definitely goes into kind of like a defense mode, where you have to defend a place for a while. And generally speaking, I don't like defense missions. I don't like having to protect something, repair things, stuff like that. It kind of felt like maybe like a small tower defense mode, but like in first person in the Doom universe. It was kind of odd. But I will say that was pretty awesome. The only issue that I ever really had with that map was the fact that there was an objective in which you had to basically babysit some turrets. And it basically notated at the top that there were so many waves that you had to defend against before the next wave would income, or the whole thing would be over. It literally says like 6 of 6 waves. But for whatever reason, even after you complete the 6th wave, it felt like you were basically having to fight through 6 more waves of the 6th wave. It was very unusual. I didn't know if that was intentional or not. I haven't seen anybody else really play through that part of the game. But overall, I thought it was pretty interesting to say the least. Even with that shortcoming aside, I did find that last level to be absolutely wonderful. As far as the boss designs this goes, the boss designs for this game are pretty fun because overall they're not very hard to say. At least not even the normal difficulty. I found some of the challenge rooms, not challenge rooms, but like the gauntlet rooms where you get to fight waves to be tougher. Most of these bosses, or all the bosses, have a pattern to follow, but they all feel uniquely different from each other. And I really do appreciate the amount of effort that went into creating these boss designs and making them fun. And another standout for this game, this is after all that, is the music. Because of the fact that we are playing in a cyberpunk world, again, it has some cyberpunk music, especially that retro cyberpunk music that you're used to. And I gotta say, top-notch work on the music itself. After that, I don't really want to talk about the ending, but I want to say that I am absolutely pleased with the content, and I do actually want to go back and try to find all those secrets. I don't know how I missed 20 to 30 secrets in that first level, so I'm definitely going to have to go back and see where I can possibly find myself locating all these other secrets at. But yeah, again, I do want to thank the publishers the developers for actually giving me access to the game. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I hope them great success. The game is only $10 and offers you like an 8 to 9 hour storyline, and I think it's definitely worth that, especially if you want to go out for those collectibles and whatnot. You're going to find a lot more bang for your buck here in this game. But that is going to be it for Beyond Sunset. I would definitely think this is a purchase if you are interested in Cyberpunk's type games or retro-styled games, anything along the lines of Doom and stuff like that, or if you're like in the heavy modding community, you might find a lot of interest here. But that being said, if you like this sort of video and you want to see more videos like this here on the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you think of the video, and until next time, you guys take care, and I'll catch you all in your next video. And like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and leave the video up so that way you can see the rest of the first episode. But yeah, talk to you guys later. out.